So we're gonna get another game. For next time, I'll see if I really want to switch Weather Ball out or not. That first game was actually really long for a Little Cup game, but I suppose maybe you guys will enjoy them. As for Bronzer, like Bronzer, Mienfoo, and Chinchou is there to kind of just deal with the Fletchling, which otherwise be a kind of a problem to the Bellsprout. So I do like having Chinchou on there for that. And like I said, the Bronzer and the Mienfoo are kind of the two things I may want to switch around. Mostly the Bronzer, because the Mienfoo is pretty good. It gives you some fake out. It's a pretty fast Pokemon, and it gets Regenerator with Violet. It usually does have longevity in the battle. With Bronzer, though, especially because I do carry Defog and I do want to like get the Stealth Rocks off, I put dual screens on it because I really just want to test it out. It's not. Ow! I'm dying. I'm dying. Ouch. Okay. I'm good.
Yeah, you're good.
So, we're in another match, and this guy's got a Fletchling, so it would be really great if I kept my Chinchou alive. He's also got a Bellsprout on his team, so I kind of got to watch out about giving him the Sun Boost as well. And especially with Fletchling, I also kind of don't want to give him Sun Boost as well. Bunnelby would kind of be a problem, just because it hits hard. I could see Apom being a lead, honestly, just because it has Fake Out. And with that in mind, Mienfoo isn't a faster Fake Outer by no means. I think Bronzer might be the best thing, assuming he leads off with the Apom. Bronzer is a decent lead. If he leads off with, you know, something like Fletchling that can hit me with fire type attacks, Yamask, not exactly good either. I know Yamask gets Mummy, it also gets Trick Room, but there's no, I don't really see him running Trick Room. I could get Stealth Rock up, because other than, I really don't think he has Stealth Rock on his team, so I mean, getting Stealth Rock up would be really, really useful just at the beginning of the game. I'm willing to sacrifice Bronzer for that. I'm okay with getting burnt. That's another thing I gotta watch out for, but this thing does get Willow. At least I don't have to deal with that. Now, I could bring in, he's not gonna go for Willow a second time. That's obvious. Now, I don't know what he would go into, but I'm very weary about wanting to bring in my physical attackers. I could go to Chinchou and kind of go for a Volt Switch to see what he would want to do, see what he might have. I know he has Mummy. I know these things can also Trick Room. They could have Shadow Ball, I'm pretty sure. Other than Knockoff, I don't really have anything to hit this thing hard with. And at least want to get some prior damage off on it on the off chance it's some lead with like Focus Dash or something like that. But he goes for Calm Minds. Now at this point we have a reason for us to be worried. So I'm gonna go for Volt Switch. He has Willow, Calm Mind, definitely at least one attacking move. So I'm gonna Volt Switch out here, get some damage off. It's not gonna be a lot at all, and then figure it out from there. The best thing that I could do is go and try and knock this thing off. Other than that, I don't have much to hit it with, but I know Mienfoo can probably take a hit and get a knockoff off. It has to. If he wants to switch out, that's fine. He goes for a Willow. It's really annoying, but I'm gonna knock off anyway because there's really no reason not to. And as we learned from the other game, at least we have Heal Bell on Chinchou to deal with that. My priority is just knocking this thing off right now. Then I could try and get damage off on him by going into Chinchou or something, going for a Heal Bell. So all hope is not lost just because I am burnt. So what I can do right now is I can U-turn out. We'll get a tiny little bit of damage off on it, not much. I still have to worry for Shadow Balls because I don't have a normal type on my team. That's another thing that's kind of an issue. is that I don't have a normal type on my team. He could burn any of my physical attackers, equally as annoying, but I'm just gonna U-turn out. Like, I almost want to go into Volbeat and kind of just try and take a Shadow Ball here. I don't know if Shadow Ball is his only attack or if he has anything else, but all we've seen right now is Shadow Ball, unless he has something like Pain Split, but I've only seen freaking Special Defense drop is kind of annoying. This thing can also, I mean, I could go for knockoff, it would be super effective, but it wouldn't be very high base power. Or I could go for a Brave Bird. I'm going to go for a Brave Bird because I think it's just going to do more damage because I already knocked it off, like I said. Like, even though it's super effective, it does take it out. So, even though we do become Mummy, I think it was worth taking out this threat. Like I said, I didn't really expect it to start Calm Minding, which was a huge problem. The Will is also a problem, but as long as I get a Heal Bell off, then I can have a lot more utility out of Mienfoo later on, and Mienfoo would definitely be good to deal with. At least freaking this thing is powerful and annoying, and I don't exactly have the best means of dealing with it. I'm gonna go into Bronzer on the off chance it carries a rock type attack. I'm not entirely sure, like, if it's anything like Diggersby, obviously he's got the normal stab attacks, and then he'd have something like Earthquake, and he'd have huge power with, sometimes they have choice Band, choice Scarf, or sometimes these things just carry a Violite, but he's got Life Orb from what I can tell. He's got, this thing is a physical attacker. Fletchling's physical. Azumarill can be physical, and Ampom can also be physical. We've already got our Stealth Rock up. It wouldn't hurt to get a Reflect off. If this thing carries knockoff, because honestly, like, anything carries knockoff, then I think it has a good chance of killing me. But it goes for Power Punch. That's another reason for us to kind of watch out. But getting the Reflect off is going to be pretty good. At least I want to try and get some damage with the Gyro Ball. The Power Punch isn't a problem until I realize that, like, I can't deal with it. But it's still in range of where I can deal with it, especially with the Reflect up. I know that doesn't do a lot. That's so sad. That's so sad. At this point, Mienfoo wouldn't be bad. I mean, I could fake it out. But it's still probably got something. It's still probably got Quick Attack. Volbeat behind a Reflect may be able to deal with it. I think Volbeat, because I'm physically, I'm physically bulky, I may be able to deal with this thing. I'm just thinking I'm behind a Reflect. I got some, I got some power. I just want to go for a Brave Bird, kill this thing. I know it could be bulky, but it's already going to bring himself down to under half, in which case Brave Bird would kill. Like, Volbeat is nice. It's got, see, like, that, it could have been a lot worse if I brought anything else in, but with the Reflect, that damage up would definitely help me. Volbeat can also roost up if I really have to, so that's also a good thing. We did lose Bronzer in the process, but he doesn't look like anything could carry Defog or Rapid Spin on his team to where the Stealth Rock would have been spun away anyway. Now, my main focus right now is to get Chinchou out and to try and get a Heal Bell off. Now, I know Apom could get a Fake Out off. I mean, I still have a Reflect up, so I kind of have hope that I can take a hit from this thing. I could definitely take a Fake Out, and then try and roost. He goes for a Fake Out. And then I flinch. I'm at 29% health. I just need to roost up once, but if I don't, I kind of don't want to switch something in on this thing either, because it could get a good amount of damage off on it. And I do also want to try and get Chinchou in safely. My Chinchou spread is kind of weird. Okay, so he goes for knockoff, which is fine. He knocks off my Violite. At this point, it looks like he's just trying to stall out the screen, which ends now. But Volbeat is bulky, and Volbeat, I think, can still do a good amount of damage to this thing and take a hit. So I can go for a Brave Bird. At the same time, I also want to keep in mind that I don't want to give the Bellsprout Sun, so I'm a bit weary about going into the Vulpix just yet, just on the off chance that this thing dies. I could also try and go into Mianfu. I could also try and go into Chin Chow, and wow, he missed a double slap, which sucks. Well, right now, my best chance is roosting. He's probably gonna go for another double slap. I think he carried Life Orb, in which case it would kill him anyway, and it gives me an opportunity to get a roost off if I live it. So I don't know. We'll see how much double. Yeah, actually, double slap would not have done too much anyway. I still would have been able to take the hit, and he dies to Life Orb, and then I get to roost up. So Volby is doing a lot of work this game, luckily, and if, like I said, if it's in the right state, it can do a lot of work. So I really like this Volby set, especially on this team, because it does keep the Stealth Rock away, but having Defog still puts the pressure on you for getting Stealth Rock up. But if you see that your opponent doesn't carry rocks, or if your opponent doesn't have any way of spinning them away, then you're pretty safe. Now, Zuriel, you're a normal fairy type, and I do have to watch out for you just a bit. Now, if you carry Bell Drum like a Azumarill, like at the same time you are also a physical attacker, and I could get some damage off on you with Brave Bird. I don't know if he would have Belly Drum. I know he would definitely have Play Rough. I'm at nearly full. I could still get Brave Bird damage off on him, and that's really my hope, because that still did a good amount. I'm okay if I die. Okay. Well, he went for a waterfall, so that's fine. I was actually expecting a Play Rough or something like that, similar to what Azumarill has, or Belly Drum, which I would definitely have to watch out for, because that, with everything else, especially because I do have the Vulpix that's weak to... I mean, I also still had Bellsprout, which would kind of deal with it, because I do have a Sludge Wave, but Volby dealt with it pretty good. The Fletchling still does have a potential to be a problem, but I do have Chin Chow around to where it's not, even if it decides to try and set up, it's not. Now, the Fletchling is probably the next Pokemon that's going to come out. If Bellsprout comes out, he knows he's probably... actually, Bellsprout could probably outspeed me. He could put me to sleep. He could get some damage off on me, and... I don't know. I might as well stay in at this point, because Volby at this point has done enough to where I don't really need it to deal with these last two Pokemon. Like I said, I have the Chin Chow for Fletchling, and Bellsprout, I still outspeed it. I mean, I take a lot of recoil, but I still outspeed it. And the Fletchling, if it decides to come in now, is just going to die to... I mean, I'm going to die to a Brave Bird or an Acrobatics, depending on what they carry. So... surprisingly enough, Volby is hogging the screen time for this episode, which isn't bad. But I really do like Volby as a Pokemon on this team. And then Fletchling is gonna come out. Doesn't want to take some Stealth Rock, but either way, I might as well knock it off, because they usually carry Berry Juice. It would be nice to knock that off, but I see no reason of him not just killing me right now, because this thing has just been a huge threat to, I mean, the rest of his team. But if he wants to go for something like Swords Dance, knowing that that's like one of the only ways he might win, is for me to just go for knockoff, at least making sure that the Berry Juice doesn't activate, but he just goes for Flame Charge and kills me. He gets a speed boost. I do have the Chin Chow at full health, which should deal with it well enough. So because he has Flame Charge, I mean, still probably has the Gale Wings, and he still probably has a Swords Dance, because that's the standard set. So I can just, you're only normal flying, so I'm just going to Volt Switch out. I think even a Volt Switch, because this thing is frail, unless it for some reason carries a Violite, Volt Switch would probably kill, but he goes for Protect, which is interesting. Protect doesn't really do anything for it, which is a weird move slot to have, but there's no reason for me not to just Volt Switch out anyway. And I always forget the fact that Fletchling is normal flying and not fire flying, but he goes for the Acrobatics and it does nothing. So Chin Chow's a really good way to deal with Fletchling in Little Cup. I don't know if you guys are going to want to see some team building videos, but I'm going to have a team building video of this team that I'm using right now. I might tweak it up a bit before I do it and then kind of show the tweaks I made, but I really hope you guys enjoy this session. I can have a lot more Little Cup Little Cup Showdown stuff, because I know that Little Cup used to be a really dominant thing on my channel, and then I kind of abandoned it, but now I really want to bring it back because I'm just getting back into the metagame, and it's a really fun metagame to play. I can't have guides on it because it is a bit different in terms of leveling and EVs and all that, so I'm planning on doing that in the future. But as always, I love you guys very, very much, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can feel free to leave a like. As always, have a wonderful day, and bye.